The apartment sat in hushed stillness, with the late afternoon sunlight stretching elongated shadows over the hardwood floors. Sarah and I had shared 3 years together, a blend of intense passion intertwined with persistent uncertainties. In recent times, her so-called errand stretched far longer than before, and her phone remained glued to her hand, now protected by a fresh password she hadn't shared. That particular afternoon, she slid into an elegant dress, snatched her purse, and moved toward the door, casually throwing back, "I won't be long," as she went. But I had already glimpsed a message she neglected to erase. Playful, flirtatious exchanges with a guy called Alex. My chest tightened with disappointment, yet a firm determination took root inside me. Leaning on the kitchen counter, I spoke in a steady tone laced with quiet steel. "Take your time, Sarah. I'll be gone when you get back." She halted abruptly, fingers still gripping the doorknob, then pivoted to face me with an artificial chuckle. "What's that supposed to mean?" she demanded, her eyes tightening. I met her stare head-on, unflinching. "It means I know about Alex. I'm done." Color drained from her face as reality tore through her facade. She faltered, words stumbling out. "It's not what you think." Yet the falsehood lingered thick and undeniable between us. I had grown weary of all her hidden truths. She attempted to retreat, claiming it was merely conversation, nothing meaningful. But evidence went beyond messages. I had discovered hotel receipts hidden in her bag, stamped with dates she had dismissed as work obligations. I kept my volume even. No shouting was necessary. "You've been drifting away from me for months," I told her, lifting the duffel bag I had prepared earlier that day. "I'm simply finalizing it now." Her eyes grew wide with the dawning understanding that this held no bluff. She extended a hand toward me, but I drew back, already mentally distant. My departure had been arranged discreetly. Since the lease stood in her name alone, the place carried no claim on me. I had arranged a modest studio elsewhere in the city and transferred my key belongings the previous day during her absence. "You can keep the furniture," I remarked, nodding toward the home we had assembled together. "I'm beginning anew." Her lips parted, yet silence prevailed. The composure I displayed disturbed her far more deeply than any heated exchange might have. She had anticipated shouting, weeping, anything she could manipulate or deflect. Instead, I offered nothing for her to grasp. I stepped out, leaving her framed in the open doorway, while the impact of my statement sank in. Come evening, I settled into my fresh apartment, where the quiet felt renewing and welcome. Sarah's calls commenced roughly an hour afterward, her voice messages shifting between remorse and fury. "You can't just leave like this," she pleaded in one recording. I offered no reply. For months I had questioned my own instincts, fearing paranoia. At last, clarity emerged undeniable. Her phrase, "I won't be long," had served as a veiled signal of disloyalty, while my response marked the path to my liberation. The following day, shared acquaintances reached out in astonishment. "You really left?" one inquired. I kept it straightforward. I answered. She selected her path. I selected mine. Sarah attempted to reframe events, informing friends I had blown things out of proportion, and insisting Alex qualified merely as a friend. Yet the receipts I deliberately placed on the counter, duplicates left for her discovery, painted the authentic picture. Rumors circulated, and the flawless image she cultivated as the ideal partner started to fracture. Those familiar with her patterns expressed little shock. They had witnessed her boundary-testing flirtations in the past. Online activity remained subdued. I avoided feeding into any spectacle, though Sarah shared cryptic sayings about miscommunications and self-improvement, evidently seeking pity. It failed to resonate. One friend forwarded a capture of Alex's account. He had swiftly progressed, sharing images alongside a different woman. The risk Sarah took exacted a steeper price than anticipated. Word reached me indirectly that she grappled with covering rent alone, the apartment now serving as an unrelenting echo of her error. In my new surroundings, a sense of lightness returned. I resumed jogging, revived connections with longtime companions, and finally enrolled in the coding boot camp I had postponed indefinitely. Her messages gradually tapered off until they ceased. On one occasion, she appeared outside my building, eyes swollen, pleading for conversation. I messed up, she confessed. I simply shook my head. You chose him. I chose me. I shut the door gently as her cries reverberated along the corridor. This held no element of malice, only preservation of dignity. Weeks onward, I adjusted comfortably to this renewed existence. The studio remains compact, yet entirely mine, untainted by deception. Acquaintances note that Sarah carries herself more subdued now, stripped of former extravagance, as though the experience struck profoundly. Those words I uttered that day, "I'll be gone when you return," transcended mere farewell. They represented a boundary established, a commitment to my own worth. She believed she could toy with trust, depart in the guise of brief outings, and expect me to linger patiently. In contrast, I departed decisively, and that absence will remain hers to bear. Healing progresses gradually, but freedom has arrived. Sarah's "I won't be long" stood as her concluding deception directed at me, and my reply served as an initial stride into independence. She misjudged my strength, and such underestimation will never recur. The path ahead stretches wide, and I author according to my own vision,